Hey, what's up? I just want to make a video because I think I haven't made a video in, I think, 4 days ish. Because, well, a few things, a few reasons, but mainly I'm doing the blinds. There we go. I had to close the blinds because the sun's going down. Mainly, because I'm playing a game called Ebony again. I haven't played it in like 2 years, really. I played it for a little while, like 2 months ago. I played it for like 4 days. I just dabbled in it for 4 or 5 days. Again, on a new server. I got pretty high pretty quick. Anyways, but I've been playing it again for like 4 days. But the main reason is I'm probably gonna keep playing it because I think I like the people in this alliance that I joined. They're kind of chatty. Some of them are kind of weird, which I like. I like people that are weird. And online also, you can be weird. It's okay. People don't judge you for being odd online. So that's good. And as long as you don't say weird shit in world chat, if you say it in alliance chat or in whispers, game moderators don't really get up in your business. So, it's like, it's like if you walk around in a public space, start spouting a whole lot of bullshit, people can get all up in your face and be like, but if you're at a party in your house and you start talking, what's up with all them blacks and Japs and shit? And you're with friends, some of your friends might be like, yeah, what's that? And some of your friends might be like, I don't know, dude, what do that's a little, And some of the other ones might be like, don't worry about him. That's just his normal bullshit that he goes on. Just wait until he gets drunk. Then he'll really be like, yee. But don't worry about him. That's just Eddie. Just, no one promote him to any kind of managerial position because, if anyone suggests it, just, nix that right then and there. As long as he's just working the factory floor, everything's good. But what I really wanted to say is, one thing I like about Ebony is it gives you a really good window into this society, the real world that we live in, because it's like it's a good metaphor for the real world, because it's one of those games that people call it pay to win games. And in those games, sure, they also say it's free to play. It's free to play, like life. Sure, life is free to play. It's also free to fucking lose and die. Go over there and just die. Nobody gives a shit about you. But you can take your billionaire money and you don't have to be a billionaire. You can just be pretty goodly rich in life with a pretty substantial amount of money. And if you have the money to throw at these kinds of games, if you can afford to throw, well, I'll say even $100 a week at these kinds of games and play very smart, you can get very powerful very quick. But on top of that, I have seen people, and this is no joke. I have seen people, and I sort of through personal testimony, but not really. You can just kind of infer after playing the game, because the first time I played this, I ended up playing for like a year and a half. You can just infer, you just know how the game works and shit. You can see people that like they'll start at like level 1 or something, and in like 2 days they're keep. And this is back then. Now it's different. So with much less money, you could achieve the same result. But back then, someone would join the server and like they would have like a level 32 keep in like 2 days, and I'd be like, yeah, that person in those 2 days put like $5,000 into the game, like each day. It's like, and they probably already knew how to play the game on top of that. So I was like, that person was probably like a tech billionaire or something, and like he owned the company and shit, and it was already going smooth. So like maybe he did like for the past 10 or 15 years just like grind out, do a startup and shit, and like maybe he just sold it off and finally was like maybe he was a Chinese billionaire or a Korean billionaire or something like that, and he sold his shit off, and he's like 38, 40, and he's just like, I'm done with that shit. I don't have to fucking do anything. I got my hot wife and all this stuff. I'm gonna do this for 6 months or something. Maybe that's true. Maybe if that's the case, you got a shitload of money, you came up from nothing. I don't even really got a problem with that, honestly. However, there are some people that were just born with a silver spoon up their ass. Just behave that kind of way, and they're just like throwing like $1,000 or $2,000 into games like these every day for months on end. Some of them I saw were playing pretty much the entire time I was on, and I don't know that they were spending like $1,000 every day, but a couple of them I was like, they were spending a lot of money on it every week, I'll say. Maybe not every single day, but and I think they were waiting for like deals to come on the ones that were spending a good amount of money. And I haven't spent a dime. You can't spend 10 cents. I think the minimum you can actually spend is $5, $4.99. Because it's almost something 99 cents. But I haven't spent a fucking dime on these fucking things. I am a true free-to-player. I did spend money on a different game a long time ago, but that was still, even that game, it was like $10 or $20, and it was to buy something that was actually worth buying. It was an RPG, and it was an item. It was, in my opinion, the only thing that was worth buying. It was an item that would increase your inventory slots for a character, which, in my opinion, that's the only item worth buying. It increases the amount of fucking space your character can carry at one time. Or the other item, which is increases the amount of inventory space your stash holds. Again, like, those are the only items I ever saw in that game that were worth buying. And they had whole shitloads of things like stuff that like changes the way your character looks. And I'm just sitting there like, why the fuck would it? And those items were more expensive. I'm like, why the fuck would anyone buy these things? And they sold. They sold well too. I'm like, why would anyone buy these? Some of them were more expensive, but a lot of them were like, because you always had to use money to buy currency, game currency. But the equivalent of it was always like, it was $1. I think the inventory increasing thing was like $15. But like a dress or whatever was always $1. But you know, it's like, whatever. That's so weird. That's how they always get you. Well, buy this dress, that dress, this dress, that dress. I guess it appeals to people that want to have like specialty character looks. It's like, whatever. And, you know, some of them increase your stats, but I'm talking about the ones that don't do that. The ones that are purely aesthetic. It's just like, that's stupid. Anyways, it was a totally different game, but I am talking about the game that I'm talking about. I hope you're allowed to mention specific games. It's not me saying bad things about Ebony. It's just talking about people and the way they use money. And again, not even any one specific person. I'm just saying it's like a macrocosm for reality. Because, you know, they could just be, you know, if they didn't spend it in Ebony, they'd probably just spend it in other dumb ways in life. They'd probably just buy like another luxury car instead of doing something else. I mean, I personally don't know if I was a person with a net wealth of, you know, a net, you know, what is it, a net worth of, let's say, $3 billion, because your net worth is always tied up in, you know, how much your house is worth, how much your houses are worth, because you probably have a main house and then like another house over there, and then or 3 cars, because you always have like more than one car. And then you have your your so and so amount of investments that you are invested in, and then all your assets that are just your sitting around assets. So the 100 or 200 million that are essentially liquid assets, just the dollars that you have sitting around. But what would you do with that? What would you do with that, 5% of the 3 billion if you were one of those poor billionaires? One of the poor ones, one of the bottom 2% of the billionaire class. What would you be doing with that? What would be your pet projects? That you would be going around doing, because that would afford you the ability to have pet projects that you could say out of the 365 days a year, you would maybe take, what is 365 divided by 7? What is 365? Yeah, well, I'm not looking. Come on. First. 52. Okay, so yeah, let's say you have 65 days off that you're just setting aside for blowing off doing. You're just marking aside that you're not gonna do anything for 65 or 75 or 80 days. You're gonna take 280-ish days to make productive days. Would you, as someone who has a net worth of $3 billion, and this, when I say that, I mean, you inherit that. You just get that because you're just born with it. Would you try to kind of make it your life's goal or ambition to make the world a place where other people have the ability to, I'm not saying necessarily join you in the billionaire class, but have other people realize what they want to do in life instead of what they have to do in life. Go to that job that sucks in order to be able to eat, have water, have a place to live. All of that Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the first and second level. Look it up if you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm sure the $200 million, you can make it happen for a few thousand people. Probably a lot more if you put your mind to it. And those investments that you got, the other 2.8 billion plus, every year they're just making more money. So you don't really need to fucking worry. You'll just have more money to fuck around with. And every year you can just keep doing that. And that's not even to talk about all the other guys that have way more net worth shit. So where are all these ambassadors of goodwill that should be out there helping the fucking world? Thousands of people every fucking year. Are they out there doing what they should be doing? Or are they out there screwing everything up for the rest of us? Because it feels to me like they're out there just kicking everybody in the balls, figuratively. Some probably literally. And you know, if you've got a lot of money, you could just give it away. That would be a very lazy way of helping people, but it would probably be effective. I mean, it would even be a good experiment too. I mean, you could have someone, you could give it away, you could give some money away and just, you know, whatever amount, a meaningful amount. If you give away like $1,000, it's just going to back down into nothingness. I mean, depending on where you do it. If you do it in an extremely poor country, the money will probably make $1,000 in a very poor country, probably translate into something meaningful. But here in America, $1,000, dick. But, you know, something like $100,000 to someone on an income of $20,000 or less would probably be fairly life stabilizing, at least. And then you could do that maybe, I don't know, it depends on how much money you have. Let's say if you do it once a year for 5 years, and then every year you come back, and you just send someone out, send your researcher out to see what happens. Like I said, that'd be a very lazy way to do it, but it would be a good experiment to run if you have a shitload of money. Just an experiment. I mean, if you've got an extra $100 million, that would be 100,000 times 10 is $1 million. Another 10 would be 10 million. It'd be 100. So what would that be? 1,000? 10,000? Math is not working for my brain. 1,000 people, right? Yeah. 100,000. Yeah. 1,000 people. $100,000. Yeah. It'd be 100 million. Yeah. And just see what happens. Like I said, a very lazy way, but just see what it does. See if the money funnels down, funnels up, funnels sideways, what happens? Because I think if you give it to people that are already making right around $100,000 a year, it will funnel sideways, or how to phrase this. Um, how to phrase it. If it's somebody that's making 50,000 or less, $100,000 will be kind of get them out of debt, as long as they're not idiots. If it's someone that's making 80, 90, 100 more, if they do have debt, then we'll probably pay it off, and then because debt is like a blood-sucking leech that's on you, and once you get it off, there you go. But that's kind of like you sending money to creditors. But then people people aren't paying. If that person would no longer be paying a mortgage, say, or they wouldn't be paying student loans, so they wouldn't have that expense. So that would be extra money, and that extra money would be going, this, there, everywhere. It might be going into savings, maybe not, but you know, anybody that's had that monkey on their back for a decent amount of time might have the wherewithal, might have the foresight to realize I just got a very, very uh, good gift, very precious, and say this does not happen. It definitely does not happen you know, does not happen often. So, take advantage of it and save something, hopefully. That's why I liked it when, I had credit card debt and my mom paid it off. And after that, I did not look at a credit card ever again because my mom paid it off for me. And I was like, yeah, I'm never getting a credit card again. And I never did. I have a debit card, and that's it. So, whatever. Medical debt, I have really, really, I have probably some of the best medical insurance any American can get because I'm on disability. I, I've never really seen anyone that has better medical insurance than me, because I kind of don't get bills like almost ever. And even when I do, I'm just like, yeah, I can't pay. And sometimes sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But anyway, it's like, yeah, I can't pay. So, what are you gonna do? And they can't garnish my income because it's from the government. So, like, what are you gonna do? You try to garnish it, they're gonna be like, yeah, you're not taking it. You're just fucking not. I tell you this, some politician somewhere tries to like make that possible, like possible to garnish people on disability income. I tell you, they are going to have an extremely short political career. They're going to be gone. Politicians in Texas are going to be gone too, because this reform they passed in Texas on the SNAP benefits, but they changed their sugary crap. I'm telling you, you're going to be gone too. They're going to be gone, and they're going to be replaced by people who are going to, the next guy that says, all right, we're going to repeal that reform. You know how I know? Because I'm talking to the senators myself. And they're going to be gone. They're going to be voted out. Anyways, this video is 30 minutes long. It's covered a lot of crap. Watch it, love it, like it. Ebony, play it. Watch all the push notifications and watch all the crap that they try to sell you for cheap. Of course, it's cheap, but pay attention, because there's also stuff in there for very expensive. So, yay. Excellent. Tax rich people, kneecap rich people, and boobs. Boobs horrific.